Hi, everyone. I'm Casey Hunt. Welcome to The Arena. It's wonderful to have you with us on this Wednesday. As we come on the air, we are grappling with an extraordinary moment, not just in American politics, but in our American life. A group of women, girls, when they were abused, pleading with their government for justice.
The days of sweeping this under the rug are over.
We matter now. We are here today, and we are speaking, and we are not going to stop speaking.
Please recognize how important it is for transparency relating to Jeffrey Epstein.
We are requesting transparency, and I am requesting every congressman and woman that goes against this bill be outed. I want to know.
Women who survived abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell here in Washington today, many of them speaking for the first time in public, telling their stories of lives torn apart, most starting when they were young teenagers. They are pressing lawmakers to act and support a move that would force the White House to release files related to Epstein. In their telling, the failure of the Trump administration to do it so far is one of protecting the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable, because they say they know who the powerful abusers are.
We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved.
Now, standing behind these women, talking before they talked, a trio of lawmakers that I'm not sure I thought I would ever see standing in the same camera frame. That is Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene. She probably needs no introduction. Safe to say she was MAGA before MAGA was MAGA and is one of the most MAGA of the MAGA. Then there's Democrat Ro Khanna there in the middle, a staunch progressive, someone who co-chaired Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, and libertarian, contrarian Republican Thomas Massie, who is the lawmaker leading this pressure campaign to get President Trump to release the files. And all of them were standing with women who were pleading directly with the president to tell the world the truth about the people who hurt them. So, what did the president do? What did President Donald J. Trump, someone who himself spent time with Jeffrey Epstein, what did the president do in response to their pleas? This is how it played out today. That news conference on Capitol Hill, just about 25 minutes before President Trump, noted regular viewer of TV news, spoke to reporters in the Oval Office.
I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
Listen to us. This is not a hoax.
And it's really a Democrat hoax.
We are tired of looking at the news and seeing Jeffrey Epstein's name and saying that this is a hoax.
We're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
Hoax. They said, don't call it a hoax. It's not a hoax. Here we are. Here we are asking you for something. And we are not a hoax. And the president, just minutes later, literally says, it's a hoax. All right, let's get off the sidelines, go into the arena. My panel's here. CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams, CNN anchor and chief political correspondent Dana Bash, CNN chief political analyst David Axelrod, and CNN political commentator, Republican strategist Brad Todd. Welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for being here. Dana, let me start with you just because I was so struck by all the ways in which this is so different from anything we normally see here in Washington. Those three lawmakers standing together, the pleas of these women, and a president who was more than willing to let his supporters, who said throughout the campaign that they wanted these files released, he was willing to take that on during the campaign and say that we should do that. Now faced with the prospect of being able to do it, he is saying no directly to those women's faces. Yeah. What do you make of it?
That the significance just politically, and then I'll get to the survivors, which is the most important thing here, but politically, what Donald Trump has been able to do since he was inaugurated for the second time has been to control the conversation and the narrative for his base, and even beyond that in many ways. This is something he can't get a handle on. He cannot figure out how to quash it. You heard in his Oval Office Q&A that he did with reporters when he was with the Polish president. He's tried to, throw this red ball over here about crime, throw that red ball over here about, pick your issue that he feels is the economy, that is the one that he wants people to be talking about. It's just not going to happen when you have these women en masse having not just speaking and speaking out, but doing so with such eloquence and with such emotion, and so many people who, again, as you said, got him elected, did so because they believed the conspiracies that he and others were pushing about, big, powerful figures silencing them.
Well, and I mean, David Axelrod, from a purely political calculation perspective, this seems to go directly in the face of what Donald Trump's own voters desperately want from him. And these women are so incredibly sympathetic.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think this underscores a reality, which is Donald Trump is his greatest asset and his own worst enemy. His force of personality and his will and his salesmanship has gotten him to where it is. But in this case, it's the things he's doing are actually inflaming this story and prolonging this story. He rode this thing, and his supporters did throughout a campaign. And then it came to the critical moment of releasing these records, and all of a sudden the Attorney General does a 180, obviously at his instance, and then he compounds it by sending his personal lawyer, who's the Deputy Attorney General, down to Florida and interviews her for 2 days, Ghislaine Maxwell, and then suddenly this heinous sex predator, which is what she is, she groomed them, she recruited them, and she participated, is now transferred to a Club Fed, a prison camp, where sexual predators never go. And now this group of incredibly compelling women speak, and his answer is, this is a hoax, and it's plainly not a hoax. Jeffrey Epstein was a sexual predator. She was convicted, and he is trying to dismiss it all as a fantasy, and this is one thing he cannot spin.
Brad Todd, I mean, to that point, it seems like, and I think part of why there are so many people out there who don't understand why it is that Donald Trump isn't just putting the files out there if he doesn't have something to hide. Because if he doesn't, put the files out there. There was one victim today, one survivor, Shantae Davies is her name. She said that Epstein bragged about the president. Let's watch that moment.
Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the two of them. They were very close.
Your day job is electing Republicans. I mean, what is your advice to President Trump in the face of all of this?
Well, one of the cardinal rules of politics is never get in a fight with someone who's a victim of a sexual abuse crime.
I'm not sure I've ever heard anyone put it quite that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
It's pretty high up on the list of things, and you can do it. People make that mistake, believe me. I learned that the hard way when I was a young political operative. So I think that that's a thing the White House is going to be very mindful of. When this was fighting with Democrats, and by the way, Robert Garcia, the ranking Democrat on the Oversight Committee, has no credibility on this because he never asked the Democrat Department of Justice for what he's asking this Department of Justice. Tom Massey also has no credibility in this administration. If he's for it, usually it's often a bad idea. But these victims are going to change the game on this, in my view. And I think they will change the political physics of how the Department of Justice reacts. Now, the chairman of the Oversight Committee in the House is James Comer from Kentucky. He's what I would call a member's chairman. Right? He is an upstanding public servant who will follow the will of where the members of his committee take it. And there are Republicans on his committee who are pretty feel strongly about releasing more information. And I think Comer will do that. I think he will do it in a pretty orderly way. It's not going to be done in one news cycle.